hello to everybody watching. Welcome to our next interview of Inside the Cougar Cavern. And today I get to interview Sergeant Mulally. Is that how I say it?
Yes,
Awesome.
Mulally.
Well, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hey everyone, I'm Staff Sergeant Mulally. I have been in the 94th for a little over 3 years, and I'm with DOP. I'm from Michigan. I'm from the Detroit area. Yeah, that's me.
Sounds good. We have the one thing in common that we're from Michigan, and what I'm finding, the longer I'm in the squadron, which hasn't been a whole long time, there's a lot of people from Michigan in the 94th, which is pretty cool because I love Michigan. But
Yeah.
So instant best friends. Like I hear someone say, "You're from Michigan too," and I'm like, "Yes, we're connected."
Sometimes you can hear the accent, which I
Yes.
never realized was the thing until I left Michigan and everybody pointed it out. But now I notice it. I'm like, wait a second, I think you're from Michigan.
Same. And I think so it gets, when I get really excited or I talk really fast, it comes in. I'm coming up on my Air Force anniversary, and I'll finally be at the point where I've lived outside of Michigan as long as I lived in Michigan. But yeah, when I talk to my mom and my sisters, like I turn back into the nasally hard R, don't you know, like
Yeah.
I've got a real North Dakota thing going too. So awesome. All right. If you could have a never-ending candle that smelled like anything you wanted, what would it smell like?
Fresh linen, like clean laundry. Yeah.
I am absolutely all the scents, like air fresheners, car air, like all of those. Clean linen is where I go. I'm not a flowery kind of smell. I just like clean, like the smell of clean.
Yeah. And then I like seasonal ones, but only really in that season. And then clean linen all year long. So
What's your favorite seasonal one?
probably I like the Christmassy ones from like Bath and Body Works. I don't know. Winter candy apple. I don't know if that's actually a candle, but those like scents.
Yeah.
But I also really like fall. So anything like pumpkin or cinnamon like
yeah. I'm with you. So I've got like my clean version of like my holiday ones. I really like pine trees. And there's one, and it's like you said it, and it's like winter sparkle or something, like the name of it doesn't describe what it is, but you're like, yeah, that's winter. Like
yeah.
That's the job that I need, is like naming scents. This makes no sense.
Yeah, totally random.
I'm gonna go off script here. So if you could name a scent, your favorite. Oh no, you know what? This was a question before. If you could describe your childhood with a scent, what would it be?
Probably something cool, not like warm. I guess being from Michigan. And I don't know, maybe like the tree, like you were saying, that like evergreen kind of scent that you get around Christmas time. Maybe that.
I like it.
Yeah.
You're bringing me back to Michigan. It's happening. I love it. What dumb accomplishment are you most proud of?
Oh my gosh, I have so many, but I can't think of anything. I tend to get really excited about the little things that don't matter. But it's kind of a way to stay like upbeat and happy. So I get proud of so many little things that then I forget like a week later because they didn't actually really matter. Let's see. I'm proud that I kept my flowers alive. My mom came to visit a while back and we planted flowers in the like front flower bed and they're still alive. I've managed to keep them watered and still like flowering. So it's not that exciting, but I'm proud.
I'm proud of you. That's one thing I've raised 2 children. One's 13, one's 8, and I have yet to cause any like serious damage. I cannot keep a plant alive to save my life. I've even had like cacti, and people are like, oh, you have to try to kill a cactus. No, I don't. I just have to have one.
Yeah, no, I've done the same thing. I think I overwatered it, but either way, I killed it. These
So
ones are still living.
I'm proud of you and your flowers. And I also love that you get excited over little things, because I joke that I'm the most cynical optimist that exists, but really I'm a celebrator of the mundane, because I think, like you said, it keeps you positive. Why not get excited about little things? Because we get upset about little things all the time. So let's
Mm-hmm.
celebrate the little things too. So
Yeah.
congratulations on your sustaining plant life. I'm very
Thanks.
proud of you.
Thanks.
No problem. What do you wish your brain was better at doing?
Remembering things.
Yeah?
I don't know. I feel like when I was younger, it was like, I'm not that old either, but when I was like 15, I could remember everything all the time, anything anybody said, and now I'm just like, you better remind me of that.
Do you have a certain method that increases the likelihood of you remembering something? Like if you do you read, like do you remember things you read better than things you hear, or do you have a
Um, I think I remember, it depends on what it is, but generally I remember things I hear, or things that I can interact with better. And I write everything down. That helps me remember things. I'd be like sitting in class at school, and I'm over here like with a notebook, like writing all of my notes, and then all of the people around me are there like just typing on their laptops. But that doesn't work
writing?
for me. Yeah.
So the commander shared with me the same struggle that you have, that she's like, I have a really hard time remembering stuff. So she writes everything down. I have the weirdest, so it's a blessing and a curse. I remember everything that I've heard. I don't
Mhm.
remember anything that I've read, which is,
Really?
yes, like I could read, like I've reread like pages of books over and over and over again, because like it's gone as soon as I read it. But if I hear something, it's there forever. So it's both good and bad. Like it's good if I can hear something. It's really bad if there isn't an audio version of what I
Yeah.
need to remember. Um, like online school, for instance, is a struggle. Or back when I was a baby intel airman, studying, my CDCs was really tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So man, I got the PDG memorized because I've got it in audio version, but
Oh,
I
see.
don't know anything about my job. Yeah.
Yeah. Destiny.
But I used to write too, but not like I write stuff down and then I never look at it again.
Oh, yeah. I do that sometimes with like notes, because sometimes just writing it down will be enough. If it's something I'm
Yes.
interested in too, like that combination, I'm usually good. But if it's like a to-do list, I have to look back at it, or
Yep.
none of that's getting done.
I'm with you. Sometimes the act of writing it down is what, solidifies it in my brain. So yeah, I've got a notebook. I write all kinds of stuff in and then never look at it again. But
Yeah.
um, all right, one more. What is the most memorable gift that you have ever received?
Oh my gosh.
This is a tough one.
I
Uh,
know. Because I've gotten so many things that I like really, really appreciate. Um, this is really kind of silly, but it kind of makes sense. So when I first moved out of my parents' house, I I like moved out in the fall. I moved out when I was 17 and started going to school because I have a fall birthday, so I graduated at 17. Um, but I moved out and I needed a toaster, but I was also like broke. So it was like one of those things I was like, yeah, I don't really need that right now. And my younger sister saved up her money and got me a toaster as a birthday gift. And it was so sweet, and I still have it and I still use it.
that is so heartwarming.
Yeah.
And I swear I don't make things up to have in common with people I'm talking to, but you like totally tapped into a moment of my life that brought me back. So I also have a fall birthday. I graduated at 17. I did not go off to college, which is probably good looking back. I left right after I turned 18 to join the Air Force, and my mom came to visit with my grandma for Thanksgiving. And it was the first time I was like maybe 19, and it was me and my 19-year-old roommate. And we're in this tiny little bungalow in California, living on futons with like piecemeal furniture and stuff. And same thing, like the toaster or whatever, those were luxuries you couldn't afford. Well, they came for Thanksgiving, and I didn't have anything to make a Thanksgiving meal. And my mom bought me a toaster oven. And same thing, it was like, I'm a grown up now. Like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. And I kept that toaster oven for years until it finally just stopped working. And then I went to go buy a new one and had like a moment where I was like, I'm letting go of this piece of my heart. And my mom laughed when she came to visit after that, because at this point I've got 2 kids. I'm like a legit grown up. And she's like, whatever happened to that toaster oven? I'm like, it finally, I had to replace it. And she's like, see, now you're officially an adult. You bought your own toaster oven. But I
No,
totally miss my, I was not a responsible grown up spending money or didn't have it,
yeah,
toaster oven gift.
yeah.
So that's not silly at all. I think, so I'm one of those people, everybody has different love languages, right? And for me, I really like to give meaningful gifts to people. And sometimes stuff that seems silly like that, I think really hits your heartstrings. And for your little sister to save up her money to get you something that, is practical and meant so much to you, that's not silly at all. You keep that toaster working, because when that toaster breaks, it's going to be like the end of an era.
I know, and I'm super sentimental, so I know as soon as it breaks, I'm gonna call her like crying and be like, McKenna, it broke. But
So I am sentimental about weird things like that, right? Like, I don't have cards saved. My sister saves like corsages from like prom and stuff like that. But for me, yeah, I fell in love with this toaster oven, and it broke my heart when it represented more than just toast.
yeah, exactly.
I get you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you, so you can share any parting thoughts, words of wisdom, or whatever with the squadron.
Okay, so I was thinking about this earlier, and I came up with 3 things, but I can only remember 2 now, so you're probably only getting 2. But and they're kind of cliche, but the first one would be, I would just say to try to be kind. And I know you hear this little like phrase all the time. It's like, be kind to everybody, because you never know what anybody's going through. And I think a lot of times, a lot of us kind of hide things and kind of put on a mask like we're okay, even if we're not, or if we're just having a rough day. And maybe it's for silly reasons, but it's still a rough day. And sometimes if one person is nice to you, like in the line at the grocery store or something like that, that can like totally turn your whole day around. Or the opposite, like if somebody's rude to you, that can just like totally ruin your day. So that's my first thing, is just be kind to everybody. And then my second thing is take care of yourself, which kind of goes along the same lines, especially right now, because like I was saying, a lot of times we put on a face like we're okay, and we're actually not, or maybe we're just having a rough day. And just make sure you take a second to take stock of your emotional well-being, as well as trying to take care of, everybody around you. Yeah, I don't know what the third thing was, so I guess you're only getting 2.
Those 2 were great, though. So I have nothing to add, which is my favorite thing to say, because they're, it's cliche and simple. I think very, very important things that everybody needs to remember. And sometimes the simplest things are the things that we forget. So absolutely. I think I had read like a meme, and it said, of all things to be kind. And everything starts with that. So thank you for that. And thank you for giving me your time today. It was great getting to know you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too.